There is a very strange paradox that most people have never really stopped to think about. Why is it that as we get older, hair can grow thicker on the chin, in the ears, in the nose, but completely disappears from the top of the head? If you are a man, you may already be familiar with the image of a thinning crown and a hairline that slowly recedes backward. If you are a woman, you may not go bald in an obvious way, but your hair gradually becomes thinner overall, and every time you brush it, there's a sense of worry. Many people have tried everything. Hair growth stimulating shampoos, topical serums, even medications. But then they come to a sad realization. The hair may grow back a little, but it doesn't last, and it falls out again very quickly. The truth is this: hair loss does not start with the hair. It starts with the internal metabolism of your body. And that is why, in this video, we are not going to talk about quick tips and not about temporary fixes. Instead, you will understand why hair follicles stop working and how to wake them up naturally, especially in a way that is suitable for people over 60. There are two very important points you should not ignore. Item number 1 is a foundation that most people overlook, even though it directly affects hair, hormones, and cellular energy. And item number 2 may help reactivate hair follicles that have been asleep without using medication. Before we go any further, I want to ask you a very simple question. Are you experiencing hair loss like this? If so, please keep watching until the end of this video. Before talking about how hair regrows, we need to clear up a very big misunderstanding. A hair follicle is not the hair strand itself. The hair strand is only the part you can see. The follicle lies deep beneath the scalp, like the roots of a tree. You can trim the branches, but if the roots are weak, the tree will never grow back strong. In older adults, especially after age 60, there is one hormone that plays a very important role in this story. That hormone is DHT. When DHT remains elevated for a long time, it does not cause hair to fall out immediately. Instead, it triggers a quiet chain reaction. DHT causes the blood vessels around hair follicles to constrict. Hair follicles become deprived of oxygen. Lack of oxygen leads to chronic low-grade inflammation. Long-term inflammation forms fibrotic tissue and scarring. And eventually, the follicle stops producing new hair. This is why, in many people, the scalp becomes shiny and smooth. A shiny scalp does not mean a clean scalp. It is often a sign that scar tissue has replaced healthy hair follicle tissue. You can picture it like this. Imagine the hair follicle as a seed and the scalp as the soil. If the soil becomes compacted, dry, and deprived of air, no matter how good the seed is, it will not be able to sprout. That is why many people use all kinds of shampoos, serums, and topical treatments. Yet their hair still does not grow back sustainably. The problem is not the seed. The problem is the environment around the hair follicle. And at this point, an important question arises. What causes DHT to increase so strongly, especially in older adults? The answer surprises many people. Number 4, insulin resistance. When it comes to hair loss, most people think about aging or genetics. But the truth is, in many older adults, hair loss is not just a hair problem. It is a sign of metabolic dysfunction. More specifically, it is insulin resistance. Insulin resistance occurs when the body's cells no longer respond well to insulin, causing blood sugar levels to fluctuate higher than normal. And this affects hair in 3 quiet ways. First, insulin resistance increases the activity of enzymes that produce DHT. DHT rises, hair follicles lack oxygen, hair gradually thins. Second, the liver, the organ responsible for processing hormones, begins to function less efficiently. When the liver is overworked, excess hormones, including DHT, are no longer regulated as well as before. DHT stands for dihydrotestosterone. Dihydro means hydrogenated. Testosterone is the male sex hormone. DHT, dihydrotestosterone, is a sex hormone derived from testosterone and is about 3 to 5 times more potent than testosterone. A simple explanation. In the body, testosterone is converted into DHT by the enzyme 5-alpha reductase. DHT is necessary for development of male characteristics, beard growth, body hair, deeper voice, sexual desire. But excessively high DHT can cause male and female pattern hair loss, androgenic alopecia, or scalp hair follicle shrinkage, or prostate enlargement. So, DHT itself is not bad, but excess DHT is the real problem. Third, insulin resistance increases low-grade inflammation throughout the body, and hair follicles are among the tissues most sensitive to inflammation. This is why many people begin to notice significant hair loss at the same time as increasing belly fat, fatigue after meals, high blood sugar, or prediabetes. Hair loss, in many cases, is an early warning signal that metabolism is starting to break down. I have met people like this. When they focused on stabilizing blood sugar, ate more mindfully, and reduced sugar and refined carbohydrates, something interesting happened. Not only did their energy improve, not only did their sleep get better, but the rate of hair loss slowed down, and in some people, hair gradually began to thicken again. However, there is one very important point to understand here. Lowering DHT alone is still not enough, because even if hormones are better controlled, if the hair follicle environment is still deprived of oxygen, blood flow, and energy, then hair cannot grow back strong again. And that is why the next section is an essential missing piece. Number 3. Restoring the hair follicle. Environment, oxygen, circulation, mitochondria. If you remember the earlier example of soil and seeds, this is the point where we begin to restore that soil. A healthy hair follicle does not only require balanced hormones. It needs 3 vital elements: oxygen, nourishing blood flow, cellular energy, also known as mitochondrial function. In older adults, all 3 of these factors tend to decline at the same time. Small blood vessels become less elastic. Circulation slows down. Mitochondria produce less energy. As a result, hair follicles enter a dormant state. The good news is this: there are simple, low-risk methods, well-suited for people over 60, that can gradually awaken these follicles. The first tool, scalp microneedling. When done gently and correctly, microneedling creates very small micro-injuries which stimulate the body to send blood and growth factors to the scalp. Put simply, it is like lightly loosening hardened soil so that oxygen and water can penetrate more easily. The second tool, red light and near-infrared light, in the wavelength range of about 630 to 850 nanometers. This type of light has been studied for its ability to stimulate mitochondrial activity, helping cells produce more energy. When hair follicles have sufficient energy, their ability to produce new hair improves. The third tool, gentle scalp massage. No need to be forceful. No need to cause pain. Just a few minutes a day can help increase local blood circulation, reduce tension, and support a more stable hair follicle environment. If we were to compare, these 3 tools are like loosening the soil, watering the ground, providing sunlight. They do not make hair grow overnight, but they create the conditions for hair to regrow naturally. And most importantly, they do not rely on medication, making them especially suitable for older adults who want a safe and sustainable solution. However, for hair follicles to truly function again, we also need nourishment from the inside. Number 2, micronutrients and supporting compounds. Naturally reducing DHT after age 60, many people begin taking vitamins and supplements with one simple hope: that their hair will grow back. But here, one important thing must be made clear. Micronutrients are not medications, and they cannot replace fixing metabolic root causes or restoring the hair follicle environment. However, when used correctly and for the right purpose, they can strongly support the hair regrowth process. The first micronutrient is vitamin D3. Vitamin D is not only related to bone health. It plays a role in activating stem cells within hair follicles. In older adults, vitamin D deficiency is very common, and this shortens the hair growth cycle. When vitamin D levels improve, many people notice that hair shedding slows down and new hair strands grow stronger. The second micronutrient is zinc. Zinc is involved in cell division, tissue repair, and hair follicle function. Zinc deficiency not only weakens hair, but also makes it more prone to breakage and thinning. In addition to micronutrients, there are several natural compounds that have been studied for their ability to reduce DHT. For example, saw palmetto. It has a mild inhibitory effect on the enzyme that converts testosterone into DHT. Pumpkin seeds and pumpkin seed oil provide zinc and magnesium and also support hormone balance in a way that is beneficial for hair. Green tea, especially the compound EGCG, helps reduce inflammation and supports a healthier hair follicle environment. Some people also use peppermint, not because it is a miracle hair growth cure, but because it helps support local circulation. But I want to emphasize this once again. All of these factors are only supportive tools. If metabolic foundations are unstable, if the scalp still lacks oxygen and blood flow, then even the best micronutrients will struggle to show their full effect. And that is why the final part of this list is also the simplest, yet the most powerful. Number 1. The number 1 meal. Supports hair regrowth, suitable for all dietary patterns. After discussing hormones, metabolism, and the hair follicle environment, we return to a very practical question. What should I eat each day to support hair regrowth? The answer is not found in complicated meals. It lies in one simple meal that affects multiple mechanisms at the same time. That meal consists of 4 main components. The first component, liver, or lentils if you do not eat organ meats. Liver is one of the richest sources of heme iron, the form of iron that the body absorbs very efficiently. In addition, liver provides zinc, copper, selenium, and B vitamins, all of which are essential for hair follicles. If you do not eat liver, lentils are a reasonable alternative. Lentils provide plant-based protein, non-heme iron, and folate, important nutrients for new cell production. The second component, onions. Onions are very rich in quercetin, a compound with anti-inflammatory properties that helps protect hair follicles. Chronic low-grade inflammation is an enemy of hair, and quercetin helps reduce this process in a natural way. The third component, fermented vegetables, such as sauerkraut. Fermented foods provide vitamin C and beneficial probiotics for the gut. When the gut is healthy, micronutrient absorption improves, and this directly affects hair health. The fourth component, pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds provide zinc and magnesium and also help mildly inhibit the enzyme that produces DHT. Just a small amount each day can have a surprisingly broad impact. When these 4 components are combined, you're not just feeding your hair. You are supporting inflammation reduction, improving circulation, nourishing hair follicles, and stabilizing hormones in a beneficial direction. One meal, multiple hair-supporting mechanisms, and that is why this is considered the number 1 meal for those who want to care for their hair in a natural and sustainable way. If you found the information in this video helpful, please click like to support the Vitalage Health channel. It lets us know that content about health, metabolism, and healthy aging is truly valuable to you. And thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Please share this video with anyone who is experiencing hair loss. See you again in the next video from Vitalage Health.